gonna happen, I guess. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Virgil better do his thing against Terence Crawford.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, what you just heard was Errol Spence Jr. being asked about possibly facing Terence Crawford, undefeated, 3-division world champion, who currently is the WBO welterweight world champion and widely considered the #1 pound-for-pound fight in the world, Terence Bud Crawford. Errol Spence, obviously undefeated, unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer. And everybody wants to see that massive fight. That's considered the super fight in the sport of boxing. And what you just heard was Errol Spence Jr. being optimistic and saying that the fight is going to happen, right? And then he says, I don't know, because obviously we heard what Terence Crawford had to say, and let's listen to what Terence Crawford had to say. But let's listen to what Errol Spence's response was about a fight with Terence Crawford and himself.
You know, we all want to see that against Terence Crawford.
They don't want to fight. It's gonna happen, I guess. I don't know.
So you hear, he said, it's going to happen, I guess, I don't know. And you can hear his team say they don't want to fight, though, right? Because obviously earlier, Terence Crawford, he was asked about facing off against Errol Spence Jr., and Terence Crawford's response about fighting Errol Spence Jr. was simply, he don't think the fight is, he don't want the fight. Listen.
I already told everybody that fight is history for me. You know, I'm not thinking nor worried about Errol Spence anymore. You know, that fight is behind me.
So you can hear it right there, okay? When Errol Spence is asked about fighting Terence Crawford, Errol Spence is optimistic and saying that fight is going to happen. I don't know when. Then he says, I don't know. But you can hear his team say they don't want to fight. So now Errol Spence is like, I don't know if it's going to happen, okay? But you could hear Terence Crawford. He's clearly in the mindset that he's done looking for a possibility of fighting against Errol Spence Jr. He says that he's closed the chapter. Let's listen to what Errol Spence had to say again.
About a fight, you know, we all want to see that against Terence Crawford.
They don't want to fight. It's gonna happen, I guess. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Virgil.
So you can hear his team say they don't want to fight. And you can hear Terence Crawford clearly stating that, he has no qualms of fighting Errol Spence Jr. He said the fight is behind him. He's not interested in the fight, okay? Just to make it clear.
He told everybody that I'm not even worried about Errol Spence no more. I already told everybody that fight is history for me. You know, I'm not thinking nor worried about Errol Spence anymore. You know, that fight is behind me.
So you can clearly see and hear that Terence Crawford is not eager about making a fight with Errol Spence. Yet, we continue to get people that say, like Max Kellerman, colorful ESPN analyst, top-ranked boxing pundit, he continues to tell the boxing world, that Errol Spence is not trying to make the fight, that the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions fighters, they don't want to make the fight. No other welterweights want to fight Terence Bud Crawford. Well, that proves not to be true, because we know two-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Showtime Sean Porter, he wants to make the fight happen with Terence Crawford. He added Terence Crawford on Twitter and said, let's give the fans the best fight and the best. Let's make it happen. Let's feed them the best fights. And Terence Crawford, he responded by stay on standby, because now you're testing my patience. And then Sean Porter, he responded by saying, I heard you're going to make a ring return in May, so I'll be ready in May. And Terence Crawford had nothing to respond back to, okay? Terence Crawford will be a free agent in October. Terence Crawford, he stated that, he was, he knew that if he wasn't with top rank and legendary promoter, CEO Bob Arum, that he can make all these big fights happen in the near future. But Terence Crawford is, is comfortable with top rank in ESPN. That's where he's been his entire career, and he's loyal to him, okay? So Terence Crawford, as you can hear, Terence Crawford is not eager to make the fight happen. Errol Spence says 60-40, make the fight happen. Terence Crawford said it got to be 50-50. If it's going to be 60-40, it got to be 60-40 in his favor. We also heard that, prior to that, we know that Terence Crawford, he stated that, his number one priority is facing off against. So Terence Crawford, he stated that, his number one objective was to face off against iconic Filipino superstar, legendary boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, that's his number one objective. Okay, in his next fight, he wants to secure that fight. Well, this is a fight that he's been trying to secure since 2014. Okay, it's been mentioned from Bob Arum since 2014, all the way up until currently today, 2021. And, he's still trying to secure that fight with a guy that's 42 years old, who does not have a world title, and has been giving him the runaround for the better part of 6 years. And he's not tired of that chase. But yet he's saying he's tired of the chase when it comes to the super fight, the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, the fight that the fans are clamoring for. He wants to neglect that because he says that he's tired of negotiating for what has been talked about for the better part of 2 years. Okay, so, and Errol Spence is in his absolute prime and has 2 world championships, is undefeated and on the verge of getting another world championship should he secure the unification bout with Yordenis Ugas, who's the WBA welterweight world champion superstar boxer. Errol Spence secures that fight. He's going to be the odds-on betting favorite. I believe Errol Spence will win that fight. He will have 3 belts. In his prime, 31 years old. Yet Terence Crawford is not he doesn't mind trying to secure and continue to chase a guy that's 42 years old. Yes, Manny Pacquiao is a legend, but he's 42 years of age. He doesn't mind chasing Manny Pacquiao, who's 42 without a belt and is not seen as a super fight. And Terence Crawford more than likely will be a huge betting favorite. If not huge, he's definitely going to have the nod and he's going to be the favorite to win the fight. If he fought Errol Spence, it would be a 50-50 fight. Who knows what the odds would be, okay? And all the belts would be on the line for undisputed. Both guys are undefeated. And on top of it, it's seen as the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, a super fight in the sport of boxing. Yet Terence Crawford would rather tell the fans he's done trying to secure the super fight in the sport of boxing, the biggest fight in his career. He is yet, and he's admitting of this, he's yet to secure a legacy fight, a high-profile fight, a big money fight in his career. When he sat down with Andre Ward, retired Hall of Fame, legendary, iconic boxer who retired undefeated at 32 wins, no losses, okay? He told Andre Ward he's trying to secure a super fight, a high-profile fight, a legacy fight, a big revenue fight. He's yet to do so, okay? And his number one objective is Manny Pacquiao. Terence Crawford has his sights set on the wrong things. The super fight for his legacy is Errol Spence. The super fight for his legacy is not Manny Pacquiao. If he beats Manny Pacquiao, who's 42 years of age, with no belt, and most people see the fight with Keith Thurman, undefeated, former unified WBC, WBA welterweight world champion, who was stripped of the WBC belt due to inactivity, that Manny Pacquiao defeated Keith Thurman as a last gasp situation. Not too many people expected Manny Pacquiao to beat Keith Thurman. Again, he's 42 years of age. And you have Terence Crawford's promoter, Bob Arum, who stated that 2 years ago, when Manny Pacquiao was 40 years old, 39, 40 years old, Bob Arum stated that he was the reason the fight didn't materialize because he prevented it from happening because he knew how it would end between Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is a good friend of his. He didn't want to see him get hurt. Not to mention, he did not want to fit the bill for the $20 to $25 million that Manny Pacquiao was looking for his career. But yet, now Bob Arum stated that the fight is a possibility. An investment group is willing to put up $50 million. Now, Manny Pacquiao's number was $20 to $25 million. Now, an investment group is willing to put up $50 million. That would cover the $20 to $25 million for Manny Pacquiao, and that would leave Bob Arum, Terence Crawford, $20 to $25 million, right? Wrong. Manny Pacquiao decided to change the number to $40 million and say give Terence Crawford $10 million. That's an 80-20 split in favor of Manny Pacquiao. That's a guy that's 42 years old, has been knocked out 3 times in his career. Yes, he's a legend. He's not a world champion, okay? He's lost multiple times in his career, badly, okay? He got badly outboxed and outclassed by Floyd Mayweather. He got badly outclassed and outboxed by Eric Morales. This is not the first time that Manny Pacquiao, he was brutally knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez. Okay, so I believe that Manny Pacquiao in this equation, this is not Manny Pacquiao that's 32 years of age. Okay, Manny Pacquiao has 7 losses on his resume. 3 times he was brutally knocked out. He has 2 draws on his resume. He's 42 years old. Okay, he's a legend, yes, but he don't represent the same thing that Errol Spence represents for Terence Crawford and these legacy fights. But yet Terence Crawford don't mind neglecting the fans and not giving the fans what they want, the super fight, to chase Manny Pacquiao for 7 years. He's been trying to secure a fight with Manny Pacquiao for the better part of 6 years, and Bob Arum has been making mention of it for 7 years, since 2014. We are in 2021. And Bob Arum has been telling Terence Crawford and the fans that it's a possibility that Terence Crawford could fight Manny Pacquiao. Now, 2 years ago, he stated that he didn't want to make the fight for Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford because he stated that he didn't want to see him get hurt. So now, why would 2 years later, now he's 2 years older, that being Manny Pacquiao, why would Bob Arum offer up the Manny Pacquiao fight? But yet, this is a fight that Terence Crawford does not mind continuously to pursue. But a fight that's a super fight and has only been talked about for the better part of 2 years in the fight with Errol Spence Jr., he decides he's done with that. He could walk away from that. But you could chase Manny Pacquiao for 7 years. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.